Hello and welcome to A Blind Date with Knowledge, the podcast hosted by Laura Brady and Stephen Liggett, which shines a spotlight on research in the North East. For this episode we have something a little bit different. We recently attended a MedConnect North event called Rediscovering the MedTech Journey. This was a networking conference with workshops, lectures and representatives from various medtech and innovation companies, and this is a compilation of our conversations from during that day. You'll hear from some of the speakers, many of the companies involved, a surgeon currently developing a medical device and his experiences around this, and the episode will finish with two of the organisers of the day, including our old friend Craig Moore. Craig joined the podcast earlier in the series for a MedConnect North episode, so if you like this one, then I would recommend you go back and also check that one out too. Let's get this episode started. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of A Blind Date with Knowledge with myself, Laura Brady, and co-host Stephen Liggett.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, good. We're here today at the MedConnect North event in Durham called Rediscovering the MedTech Journey 2023. Yes. So yes, how have you found this morning's session?
Yeah, it's been interesting for me, who I think I know the processes and the systems around, I suppose, not so much devices, but how we maybe introduce new medicines and treatments. But there are so many kind of sources of support, so many pathways, organisations that can help with your innovation, help bring your ideas to market. It was almost it was almost too much, maybe. I'm pleased to be here, to learn all about how the pathways interconnect and join up with each other, because the amount of information out there is actually quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's definitely been a broad topics this morning, and there's definitely people here from lots of different stages in the process.
Yeah,
we've got industry representatives like hospital, NHS staff, NIHR presence, and other clinical research networks. We've also got regulatory presence with MHRA and NICE. So yeah, there's a plethora of things to be discussed.
You've done a great job at getting some of the guests and the speakers here today to come onto the podcast. So you'll be hearing from various organisations and individuals involved throughout, the innovation pathways and the research and device technologies in the North East. So that'll be fantastic. So hopefully this podcast will be a little bit different and it'll give you a flavour of the day.
Yes, we're about to have a lot of different information from lots of different people right now. So let's jump to it. I'm here with Rachel Morris, who's one of the Associate Directors at the Academic Health Science Network for North East and North Cumbria. Hi, Rachel.
Hi. Just to point out that the Academic Health Science Network for the North East and North Cumbria will soon be changing its name. So we will be moving to Health Innovation North East North Cumbria as part of the National Health Innovation Network.
So exciting. Yeah. And it's definitely representative of the themes that we encourage. So would you like to tell us a bit about the new innovation pathway and kind of what that will mean for research in our area?
Yeah, so the innovation pathway this version is a newer version, but actually it was created back in, I think it was about 2012, 2013 when the AHSNs were created. So it's a pathway which is aimed to speed up, accelerate innovation across our region. That innovation that sits across NHS, academia, industry, and our role in that is to bring all of the support partners and all of the wraparound support that goes with innovation together for the North East and North Cumbria to help innovators access the right support at the right time. So that could be support services in terms of organisations in the region who offer support for the different hexagons along the pathway. It could be where to find finance. It could be how to get marketing support for different parts of the pathway. It could be support around adoption and spread. And what we've done as an AHSN or a health innovation network is to break that pathway down into manageable chunks, so that when the innovator comes to us, we can assess where they are in their journey, or we can tell them what they need to do to move along that pathway, and we can get them the right support at the right time.
That's amazing. I think it sounds like it would be a beacon of collaboration and bringing people together. So there was something that you mentioned earlier about the gateways and the criteria for gateways. So how will the inclusion of those facilitate this pathway?
So what we do is we have an initial gateway whereby anything that comes into us as an organisation is reviewed. So if we bear in mind that we've got all of our NHS trusts, all of our primary care network, and now we've branched out into social care, domiciliary care, the virtual wards, all that type of area, patient care at home, and then we've got the industry sector, and then also academics. The number of innovations and ideas that come through our triage every week, it can be anywhere from 10 to 30 innovations coming through every week that we review. So what we do as part of that is we put a key set of criteria together that an innovator needs to meet in order to move through that pathway. And depending on where we put them in the pathway depends on the criteria they need to meet. So one of the first things that we do is we will do an information gathering exercise with an innovator. We'll ask them a basic set of questions, and we use that information to then put a team together to then understand what their value proposition is. Then we'll have somebody who's a bit more experienced in that value proposition meet with the innovator and understand that value proposition in a lot more detail. And then what we'll do is we'll validate the claims that the innovator is making. We then look for evidence generation, evidence gaps, what the innovator needs to do in terms of that evidence base to move them along the pathway. And basically we identify not just evidence gaps, but any other gaps that they have. So if there's regulatory gaps, especially for digital products now with the DTAC regulations, we'll identify those for them. And basically anything that we can do to support. We obviously have expertise in-house, but we can't be an expert in everything. So we are heavily reliant upon our ecosystem, which is now part of the Health and Life Sciences Pledge. So if somebody comes to us and they have a particular requirement around evaluation of a diagnostic, we know we can rely on, say, for example, our NIHR MIC to support us with an evaluation of that diagnostic. If it's something that needs a clinical trial, we can link them in with MedConnect and the NIHR CRN. And we've now built up a huge repository of support organisations, from the Royal College of Engineers to marketing and communications teams, regulatory advice teams, companies who make prototypes, a huge amount of support organisations, so that as a region we are accelerating innovations for our innovators as quickly as possible.
Amazing. Would you like to share how people can find a little bit more information? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So we're about to change our organisational name. So I'll not point anybody to the direction of our website, but if you find me on LinkedIn, you can pick it up from there.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, now I'm here with Jody Nichols, who's the Associate Director for the Academic Health Science Network. Hi.
Hello.
So would you like to talk a little bit about the pledge that we heard a bit about this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pledge is a piece of work that encompasses and expands on the work as an HSN that we're doing around the innovation pathway. So the innovation pathway is, the idea is that we can support innovators from early conception all the way through full implementation nationally, internationally, in the NHS or another healthcare setting. And the idea of the pledge is it wraps around that, it supports that. As an organisation, as an HSN, we can't provide all the support. We rely heavily on our partners within the ecosystem itself. And the idea of the pledge was to bring together that ecosystem to allow us to provide us with a mechanism in which we can talk about our ecosystem. I'm a firm believer in the ethos that we are a fantastic region. We provide some fantastic innovation, fantastic support, but we don't necessarily talk about it as well as other regions, which then impacts sometimes the headlines that we miss, or the opportunities that we miss at a national level. So having this pledge, the pledge is it's a non-contractual pledge. The pledge itself is the Health and Life Sciences pledge to bring together the ecosystem to better communicate, collaborate, and celebrate, to help the organisations involved in that ecosystem space to work better together.
Amazing. It sounds great, and it's definitely along the themes of our podcast here. So how will you go about sort of spreading the message of the pledge and approaching sort of different organisations and including them in this going forward?
Yeah, fantastic. So we've been going since about March this year. We launched in March this year. And we've been working closely with individual organisations who work in this ecosystem space, from people like CPI, so MedConnect North, CRN, are all part of the pledge, and going through our connections to meet these people. But then much broader than that, because obviously we know who we know, but we need to know who we don't know, and bringing those connections. So it's about attending events, making people aware of the pledge, having collaborative events which we host, which we've had a number of, whether it's in Cumbria, whether it's in the Northeast, and making people aware, social media presence, having our website, and just make people aware of what we do and how people help us to celebrate.
Yeah, amazing. Communication always comes down to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Stephen and I will definitely take it back to our respective areas.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Greenlight Guru. Clinical Greenlight Guru.
Greenlight Guru Clinical.
Greenlight Guru Clinical.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We just rebranded. It's not exactly rolling off the tongue.
No. Well, should help to cement it, obviously, with all of our listeners. So. Hi, I'm here now with Rasmus Blendel from Greenlight Guru Clinical. Hi.
Hi.
So would you like to tell us a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm the product manager for Greenlight Guru Clinical, which is an EDC platform, or electronic data capture system. It's used to collect data throughout the MedTech lifecycle, from system validation to clinical trials, all the way through to post-market activities. It's essentially a non-programmable platform that you can click, drag and drop. It's meant for clinicians to easily create studies.
So it's got quite a simple interface, like a usable...
Yeah, exactly. No programming experience required, and you access it through a browser, so it is not an installation. We handle all the security and facilitate compliance with all the regulatory requirements, and that is required for MedTech device studies.
That's amazing, because I know we see a lot of barrier to different installation softwares and things, so it's great that it's accessible that way for people. I'm sure it'll make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, so now I'm here with Amanda from the Northeast Innovation Lab. Hi.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you're here today?
Yes, so my group at the Newcastle hospitals provides laboratory support services for people who are developing new in vitro diagnostics. Right. So we kind of help them assess their analytical validity, help them to design clinical trials and studies, which assess the accuracy of their tests, work with them to acquire materials from biobanks, both from our own biobank, which we've got a fairly extensive biobank as part of the hospital trust, but also from other biobanks elsewhere, working with our clinical colleagues to kind of assess whether the diagnostics are useful, working in collaboration with some of the other groups that are here as well. So the NIHR, Newcastle In Vitro Diagnostics Cooperative, we work pretty closely with. So yeah, basically everything IVD is where we hope people will come to talk to us.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm here now with Claire Jones from Novapath. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about why Novapath are present today.
Yeah, we're here today because we're offering the diagnostic service, cellular pathology services that we have to provide. So we're branching out to do commercial, but we also work with the universities and local NHS trusts.
That's amazing, bringing different spheres together. And how do you find that? Does that help as a whole the progress of Novapath?
Yeah, so we're trying to support so that research so it can be better implemented into the trust in general. So we're trying to help companies and researchers to kind of broaden their research scope.
It's amazing that definitely having more people involved helps to do that.
It does.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm here now with Rachel Dickinson. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Can you tell us where you're from and why you're here today?
Sure. So I'm here from the Newcastle MedTech and In Vitro Diagnostics Cooperative, also known as the MIC.
Nice.
We're funded by the NIHR, the National Institute for Health and Care Research, and we're a partnership across Newcastle University and Newcastle Hospitals Trust. So we are experts in methodology and evaluation of new diagnostics, and we use this expertise to help diagnostic developers to generate a portfolio of evidence so that hopefully their diagnostics will be suitable for adoption in the NHS. So sort of three broad areas are around health economics, also study design and statistical analysis of clinical studies, and then also stakeholder engagement, so help interviewing, doing surveys and focus groups with healthcare professionals to find out where a diagnostic might address unmet needs and find out where in the patient pathway the diagnostic could have the best impact.
That's amazing. So do you find that you're having to develop new methodologies with the digital age? And yeah, that's true. Yeah, so at the moment we're kind of mainly focused around in vitro diagnostics, but definitely, as you say, like the way that the kind of landscape's shifting, we're looking more into kind of digital technologies, app-based technologies as well. Amazing.
So yeah,
we definitely need the expert methodologists to do that part, so we'll be sharing the contact details at the end of this.
Okay,
thank you.
Great.
Thanks. So now I'm here with Cheryl Dean from CPI. Hi, Cheryl.
Hello, hi.
So would you just like to tell us a bit about why you're here today and what CPI do?
Yes. So CPI are here today to showcase the expertise that we have to support the health tech development. We specialise in wearables, IVD and medical devices, and we are looking to support companies through their development pathway from concept to the transfer to contract manufacturer. So we have a variety of skills and expertise in-house, and we are looking for projects that we can assist with either the full design development or even just a small part of a project. We are happy to engage with SMEs and also large corporates, and we can work on a fee-for-service basis, but we also have a bids team which can help you to apply for grants and to get grant funding to progress with your product development.
Oh, that's amazing, especially wearable devices growing massively. So
I just have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like the landscape is potentially quite competitive in terms of, accessing an SME or an organisation. How does that kind of fit in with the collaboration that we also see in the Northeast? It's kind of quite an interesting juxtaposition almost, isn't it?
Yes. In terms of collaboration, we are more than happy to collaborate with any partners that are within the landscape already, and because we're part of the high value manufacturing catapult and partially funded by the government, then we have lots of partnerships already underway. Yeah, super. We can work with those partnerships.
We'll share your details so people can get in touch with you.
Lovely.
Thanks for listening to this episode of A Blind Date with Knowledge on the Road. We'll share all the contact details and websites for the people that we've spoken to in the description of this episode. So please reach out and get in touch with those should you have any more questions or you're interested in the work that they're doing. And now on for some more networking.
And it was actually, I'm Mr. Light, actually.
Mr. Light.
A surgeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which is
sorry.
a strange UK thing that we have where when you become a surgeon, you stop being called a doctor. Which, it goes back to the Victorian times when hairdressers used to do surgery.
Oh, interesting.
So they were rejected. So many people died from surgery in the Victorian times that doctors who'd been to medical school couldn't accept them as part of the medical profession because they were literal barbers, and so that's led to this. That's what the origin of it historically is. So where surgeons are doctors in every other part of the world, but because of our Victorian tradition, which we've been probably stuck in forever.
That's amazing. I'm glad to know that now. I always wonder what's the origin behind.
So surgeons were just not accepted as part of the medical establishment because they were too lethal. Basically. Even though the physicians were using leeches and all that.
So I'm here now with Surgeon Duncan Light. Hi, Duncan.
Hello.
So I'd just like to ask you a bit about the clinical innovation event that you did in collaboration with Team Consulting. Could you just tell us a little bit about the impact of that?
Well, it was a novel event that I made contact with Oliver through on LinkedIn, basically by extending my network, and we had an interesting conversation just about the device development and consulting, and it was mainly from my own personal perspective. But he then came back to me with the offer of this innovation event. And I think, as he mentioned himself, it was with the concept of involving clinicians directly at the start. And I think as much as it was a learning experience for their engineers and designers to see how we think. And really, and in that design process, because I think conventionally they've had clinicians will come in and advise and say yes, no, good, bad. But that's about as much as sometimes they've had. Whereas, I sat down in the room with an experienced engineer and designer, and we did the whole design sprint, and we had the storyboard and worked out what are the phrases of what we want this design and product to do. And for me personally, it was an amazing experience of getting some experience in that design frame and working in a creative mindset, which is different to my conventional clinical practice. So it was really nice for me just to step out of role a little and get into a more creative position. So it was really, I think everybody benefited.
It sounds like quite a reciprocal productivity was achieved, and that the ideas were almost transformed within that day. You ended up with some results.
The day was mainly the design, so at the end of it, the engineers then went and spent some time working on the product, and I met with them a few more times online. And then we've now pretty much got to a point that I've got a prototype and technical documentation that I'm now going to take to get IP.
That's amazing.
And see how I progress with it. And a learning experience as much as anything. So.
And I know it's top secret, so I won't put you in an awkward position of asking you to tell us more, but best of luck with that. I hope that continues to go well and that,
Well, no, thank you. Yeah. Well, and actually I'm using it as a sideline to apply for the NHS Clinical Entrepreneurs Programme. Which I think seems like a really good initiative. I think it's in its 8th year now.
Nice.
And that's run through the NHS programme, and they support clinicians in practice to develop their innovations, and whether they're digital devices or anything else. So it seems like a good network to try and be involved with. So
definitely.
I'm certainly going to apply. I think it's quite popular now as it's raised profile over time, but it seems like a good opportunity for clinicians who are interested, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Duncan. Would you just like to give a comment for the MedConnect North guys on how the day has gone so far? And
well, I just think it's been a really great programme. It's really fun, especially the first session for me, from that device development and through regulations. And as I've been getting more involved in the area, it's actually served as a really good revision for me.
Yeah, it's a good overview.
Consolidation too. So yeah, great event.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
So I'm here with Craig Mauer from MedConnect North. Welcome back to the podcast, Craig.
Thank you very much for inviting me back. I didn't think it would happen again, to be honest. Given your comments last time.
So would you like to just give a comment on how you think today's gone so far? And
I think it's gone well. We've overrun slightly, but that always happens with conferences because there's so much to get through. It's obviously very heavy on the regulation side, which is by its very nature very dense. But I think the speakers communicated it very effectively, and I hope the audience have taken a lot from it.
Yeah, it seems to be a wide range of people from different spheres here, so I guess that overview of the regulatory process is proven quite useful to different people.
And we try to invite as many SMEs as possible because they're the guys that really need to know this kind of information, and hopefully they can speak to the advisors and the experts and get help with their own projects.
Amazing. Well, there seems lots of passionate discussion going on now. So,
could you give us maybe themes that you've experienced from the talk so far? We were discussing like collaboration, getting the engagement early. Is there anything else you'd like to expand on?
The big one is, and I forget which speaker said this, it might have been the guy from the NIHR actually, just make it human. Stop making it kind of just this kind of cold, dense text that we have to kind of struggle through, and be there for companies who want advice, which is part of why we exist as a service, MedConnect. It's just to meet people face to face or talk to people and help them and support them through it. So make it human is my slogan for today.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
So I'm here with Odell fans. Thank you, Odell, for organising today. It's been great so far. We've still got the afternoon to go, but would you like to give a comment on the day?
Yeah, it's just been an absolutely fabulous day from start till now. Obviously, we've got the buffet running at the moment. We've had a brilliant turnout of obviously people that obviously want to attend. Mixture of SMEs, our healthcare professionals from the NHS and other partner organisations all coming together. We've had some fabulous speakers on this morning and some great questions that have been obviously given, and they've given some great answers, and following on from that, there's been loads of networking where people can follow on and get more information about everybody that's been here and some of the useful kind of, info that's been given out to everybody. So it's been absolutely fabulous. I've loved every minute of it. So yeah, and I'm sure that the afternoon will be just as good.
Yes, I'm sure it will. Great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Just leaving the MedConnect event, rediscovering the MedTech journey. Just getting attacked by some seagulls, but a brilliant event, I thought, Laura.
Yeah, it was great. There's lots of connections being made. You can see some sort of spirited discussions, nice, interesting conversations. Great to see loads of different people coming together.
Yeah, totally. So please check out the contact details for all the companies that we spoke to on the platforms that we share the podcast. And as always, do get in touch if you have any feedback, if you want to be a guest, or you've got any questions or ideas.
Amazing. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening.